Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Here's a look at the ES in the daily time frame. What you'll notice here, again, price continuing to push quietly higher here. We're looking for a modest check mark continuation up today. But again, keep an eye on the previous session's high here, any failure there, and we're kind of back into the range. The expectation here is, although we do have some economic data here on the calendar, the market here is widely in a wait and see mode ahead of Fed tomorrow. So Fed Wednesday upon us here, but today on a Tuesday we could be looking at, again, very similar price action to the previous session where it's mostly range bound with an upward bias as this market again awaits the Fed on Wednesday. So sideways with an upward bias here for the ES. If you're looking here at the NQ, very similar price action here as well. The NQ has pushed beyond the 24,500 level, big time continuation up. You can see a check mark continuation style move here developing early, but any failure here at the previous session's high, we could fall back into the range a bit and go sideways again with an upward bias here as this market builds out a range ahead of Wednesday's Fed. Looking at crude oil, this one right here, 0.5% higher at the moment. This one you can notice right down at these lows, big time support here at the 6150 zone. 4 rotations, all in that zone here recently and just holding. One of the key things that we mentioned before is that key range here that developed on Friday, impulse rally back to the mid, and mentioned here that that's going to be the key range to watch moving forward. We now have since developed an inside day and further compression, and we're building some energy. That's the key range to watch here for directional conviction in the short term. A push to the upside likely gets you back up towards 66. A break through the downside can open up another round of lows here. So again, that's the key range to watch here as this market continues to sit right on that 6150 zone in that little narrow range right in here. Any break or violation here and you're opening up the bottom end of the range, a break through the highs, and you're opening this upper end. So right now, very tightly coiled here, bit of a rounded bottom. Can we get a break through the 64 zone to open up 66 and perhaps even beyond? All right, looking at gold futures, this one's up 0.4% right now. This one continues to show an immense amount of strength. This is a tremendous breakout and continuation from this larger 500-point pattern that we talked about before. We mentioned if we break 3,500, 4,000 is ahead. Anytime you get major expansion like this and you go midway to the target, that only increases the odds of a continuation toward that target. Additionally, on this breakout move, look at the amount of juice this thing is getting on the way up. These bullish G-squat days right there are in essence just showing the sheer amount of strength going into this move right here by way of volume and on that expansion phase. That is tremendous strength right here. Unidirectional price action here to the upside. Newly auctioned price action above that 3,500 level, so there can be some counter trend moves. Those will be defended for a continuation higher toward 4,000 up ahead. All right, looking at the YM. This one traded in a clear box in the previous session. Very, very clear trading range action. The thought for today is any push into the previous session's low could be an opportunity to fade it for a return back up and a 2-day compression develops. Right now we do have an inside day developing here with a bit of a modest downward bias, a little bit of an intraday rounded top. So again, short term that would suggest a push into the previous session's low. Once we get into that low, that could be an opportunity to fade it and bring it back up. But again, you're looking for a 2-day compression to develop here into Wednesday's trade as the market awaits the Fed. All right, looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin here has seen a bit of a push to the upside here recently. This is the longest push to the upside we've seen in a while. By sheer number of days, 2 weeks of strength. This was stronger here, but it was really just a handful of days. But we've now run into some resistance by way of the previous month's midpoint. That also comes right into that gap fill right here as well. This follows that higher high rejection. So are we about to see another rotation back down, or can we push through this midpoint to open up the upper half of last month's range? So big time level right here to continue to watch. That's about 116.5. Still in an uptrend inside day here, but this is also developing a compression here ahead of tomorrow's Fed. So this could be mostly range bound ahead of Fed. And as I've mentioned before, Fed rate cuts tend to favor crypto, and that could be quite bullish moving forward. All right, looking at ETH. ETH right here developing a range as well over the last several days. A big time push up on a Friday, a rollback on a Monday, inside day as we head into Tuesday's RTH open. Now again, the way that this thing broke to the upside of this compression here would suggest a potential continuation, but any failure here to hold the breakout point and you're now back across the range, and again showing another powerful form of rejection if that were to be the case. So again, this market building some tremendous energy here, and if it can get an upside break, that will open up 5,200 and as much as 5,600 up ahead. So that could be the next major two targets that we see right into that zone, and 5,800 would be the next major market structure level up from a push from 46 into the next two up, 52 and 58. So right now, a lot of compression here, a lot of energy being built up. As I've mentioned before, even if this thing were to pull back, it could offer a tremendous opportunity to go get these upside targets over the course of Q4. So again, a lot of energy being built up here, but we could be looking at further compression ahead of Wednesday's Fed. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.